The morning your legs feel older than you remember. You wake up before the alarm, and for a few quiet seconds, everything feels familiar. Then you swing your legs over the side of the bed. Your feet meet the floor, but instead of standing smoothly, you pause. Your knees feel reluctant. Your thighs seem unusually heavy. It takes an extra moment before your body settles into balance, as though your legs are waiting for permission to begin the day. Nothing hurts enough to make you worry. There is no sharp pain, no dramatic injury, nothing you could easily describe to a doctor or even to a friend. Yet something feels different. Climbing the first few stairs requires more effort than you remember. Carrying the laundry basket seems slightly harder. Rising from your favorite chair is no longer automatic. These are small changes, almost invisible, until they quietly become part of everyday life. You may tell yourself this is simply what getting older looks like. Perhaps you promise to exercise more next week. Perhaps you wonder whether lifting heavier weights is the answer. Most people stop the conversation there, believing the explanation is obvious. But your body has already begun a series of biological events long before breakfast, before your morning coffee, before you even think about exercise. Deep inside your muscles, signals are being sent, decisions are being made, and tiny processes are unfolding that will influence how strong you feel today and months from now. Almost nobody talks about those hidden moments because you cannot see them or feel them directly. Yet they happen every single morning, whether you notice them or not. And if your muscles already feel different before you've taken your first step, what exactly changed overnight? Why exercise stops working for so many people? That question leads to a puzzle that frustrates millions of adults after the age of 60. You continue showing up. You lift the weights your doctor encouraged you to lift. You stay consistent for weeks or even months. Yet the mirror barely changes. Your strength improves only a little, and everyday tasks still seem harder than they should. It can feel as though your muscles have simply stopped listening. The explanation most people hear sounds convincing at first. You are told you need to push harder. If that doesn't work, you are told age has finally caught up with you. Then comes another suggestion. Buy a new powder, a special drink, or the latest supplement that promises to wake your muscles up again. Each idea contains a small piece of truth, but none of them explains the full picture. The real reason is far more interesting, because it has less to do with effort than with timing, biology, and the way aging muscle responds to the signals it receives. There is a missing step that changes how your body interprets exercise, and almost nobody explains it. Better still, it is not hidden inside an expensive product or an elite training program. In one form or another, you probably already have what you need somewhere in your kitchen, and within the routines you follow every day. What makes this mystery even more surprising is that the answer is not another exercise. Your workout may not be the first thing that needs to change at all. Before I explain why, I need to address something that's made this subject far more confusing than it should be. Why so much muscle advice misses the biology. Before we go any further, it helps to understand why this topic has become so confusing. Every week, there seems to be another celebrity workout, another miracle powder, another headline promising one unusual exercise that supposedly rebuilds decades of lost muscle in record time. The message is almost always the same. Lift heavier, train longer, buy one more supplement. If your results disappoint you, the assumption is that you simply have not tried hard enough. That is the part I find genuinely frustrating. Not because resistance training is ineffective, quite the opposite. Resistance training remains one of the most valuable things you can do for healthy aging. The problem is that much of the advice skips over the single question that matters most. Is your muscle actually prepared to respond? Your body is not a machine that automatically converts effort into strength. It is a living system guided by biological signals. One of those signals is muscle protein synthesis, the process through which damaged muscle fibers repair and become stronger. Another is anabolic resistance, an age-related decline in how sensitive muscle becomes to those growth signals. Your nervous system also plays a critical role by activating muscle fibers efficiently before they can generate meaningful force. None of these processes can be understood by looking only at the amount of weight on a barbell. This is why you are not going to hear another collection of trendy shortcuts here. You deserve an explanation that respects both your intelligence and your time. Once you understand how aging physiology changes the conversation, many popular fitness claims begin to sound incomplete rather than convincing. The science is fascinating on its own. It does not need dramatic promises or clever marketing to capture your attention. And here is the remarkable part. These biological events are unfolding inside your muscles every day, whether you recognize them or not. That hidden activity determines far more than the brand of protein powder sitting on a shelf. So instead of asking how much, why this channel focuses on mechanisms. If you appreciate understanding why your body behaves the way it does, rather than collecting another list of health tips, then you are exactly the kind of viewer this channel was created for. Every conversation here begins with biology, follows the evidence wherever it leads, and ends with practical steps you can actually use in everyday life. There are no miracle claims to defend and no trends to chase, because your health deserves more respect than that. If this kind of thoughtful, evidence-based explanation is useful to you, consider staying with us as we continue exploring how the aging body really works. There is still much more to uncover, and each piece makes the next one easier to understand. Because once you see the mechanisms beneath the surface, everyday health advice starts making far more sense. Now let's follow the chain of events that determines whether your workout succeeds or quietly fails. Weight you're lifting. Let's first look at the biological switch your muscles need first. The story begins long before a dumbbell leaves the rack. Every time you challenge a muscle, tiny microscopic fibers experience controlled stress. That sounds alarming, but it is exactly what healthy muscle is designed to handle. The workout itself is not what builds new muscle. It simply sends an invitation for your body to begin the rebuilding process. That invitation activates a pathway known as mTOR, short for the mechanistic target of rapamycin. In plain language, mTOR acts like a construction manager, deciding whether your muscle has enough resources to begin repairing and strengthening itself. If the signal is strong and the building materials are available, muscle protein synthesis increases. This is the process that replaces damaged proteins with stronger ones. As the years pass, however, that system becomes less sensitive. Researchers estimate that adults lose roughly 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade after age 30, with the decline often accelerating after 60. One reason is anabolic resistance. This simply means aging muscle no longer responds as efficiently to the same exercise or the same meal that once stimulated growth decades earlier. The challenge does not stop there. Muscle fibers also become less responsive to amino acids, the small building blocks that form protein. One amino acid deserves special attention: leucine. Studies suggest many older adults need approximately 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine within a meal, usually provided by about 20 to 40 grams of high-quality protein to fully stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Smaller amounts may still help, but they often produce a weaker response in aging muscle. Another layer involves your nervous system. Before a muscle can generate force, your brain must recruit motor units, groups of nerve cells and muscle fibers working together. This process, called neuromuscular activation, naturally becomes less efficient with age. Fewer motor units are activated, meaning even healthy muscles may not receive the full signal to contract powerfully. Blood flow changes as well. Healthy circulation delivers oxygen, amino acids, hormones, and other nutrients to working muscles. When delivery slows, the rebuilding process can also slow. Even insulin, best known for regulating blood sugar, plays a supportive role by helping nutrients move into muscle cells where repair occurs. Then another remarkable system joins the process. Satellite cells, specialized muscle stem cells, awaken after resistance exercise and help repair damaged fibers, allowing muscles to adapt over time. Research shows this rebuilding response can remain elevated for roughly 24 to 48 hours after a workout, especially when resistance training is performed consistently 2 or 3 times each week. Notice what has happened. Exercise created the signal, but it never completed the job alone. The quality of that signal, the availability of protein and leucine, the support of your nervous system, healthy circulation, and adequate recovery all determine whether the workout becomes stronger muscle or simply another tiring session. But if that's how muscle growth actually works, why do so many people unknowingly make it harder every single morning at what's happening inside the muscle itself? The habit that cancels half the benefit. Once you understand how muscle actually grows, one everyday habit suddenly looks very different. Many adults finish a strength workout feeling satisfied, drink a cup of coffee or a glass of water, then wait several hours before eating a proper meal. Others have a light breakfast that contains very little protein, or they refill their energy with mostly toast, fruit, or cereal because it seems like the healthier choice. None of these decisions are careless. They are simply based on advice that rarely considered how aging muscle responds. Remember what your workout accomplished. It switched on the biological machinery for repair. But that machinery cannot build new muscle without enough amino acids, the raw materials supplied by dietary protein. As anabolic resistance increases with age, the window for stimulating muscle protein synthesis becomes less forgiving. The signal is still there, but it becomes weaker if the building blocks do not arrive when your muscles are ready to use them. This is not about chasing perfection or eating immediately after every workout. The evidence suggests that providing adequate, high-quality protein before or within a reasonable period after resistance exercise can help older muscles respond more effectively. That approach supports the biology you have already activated instead of asking your body to do more with less. You were never failing because you lacked discipline. You were following guidance that made sense for younger muscles, but overlooked how aging changes the rules. And once you see that difference, another long-held belief begins to deserve a second look. But there's another belief that's been shaping these habits for decades, and it deserves a closer look. The protein myth that changed everything. For many years, you may have heard that older adults should keep protein intake modest and avoid eating too much. That belief did not appear out of nowhere. It grew from legitimate concerns about certain medical conditions, particularly advanced kidney disease, where protein intake sometimes needs careful supervision. Over time, however, that important medical guidance became simplified into a message that many healthy older adults accepted as universal. What the research has shown over the past 2 decades is far more nuanced. Organizations such as the American Society for Nutrition and the European Society for Clinical Nutrition and Metabolism have highlighted that many healthy older adults benefit from consuming enough high-quality protein, distributed across the day, to better support muscle maintenance and recovery. The goal is not excess. The goal is providing aging muscles with consistent opportunities to respond to the signals created by movement and resistance exercise. This does not mean everyone should suddenly eat the same amount of protein. Your kidney function, overall health, medications, activity level, and advice from your healthcare professional all matter. Good science rarely produces one answer for every person, and that is one reason it deserves your trust. The version many people were told was simple: avoid high protein as you get older. The version supported by current evidence is more thoughtful. Healthy aging muscles often need better quality protein, consumed at the right times, while individual medical conditions remain an essential part of the conversation. Once you understand that distinction, the practical steps become surprisingly straightforward. So, what does all of this actually look like tomorrow morning? The simple sequence that helps your workout count. After everything we've explored, the solution is probably much simpler than you expected. The goal is not to overwhelm your body with harder workouts. The goal is to help your muscles recognize the signal you are already creating. Think of this as giving your body the conditions it has been asking for all along. Start by planning your protein around your resistance training. For many healthy older adults, consuming approximately 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein within about an hour before or after exercise provides the raw materials needed for muscle protein synthesis. Some people prefer eating beforehand, while others feel more comfortable afterward. Either approach can work if it fits your routine and digestion. Within that protein, aim for roughly 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine whenever practical. Foods such as dairy products, eggs, lean poultry, fish, and certain protein-rich supplements naturally provide meaningful amounts of this important amino acid. Leucine is not magic by itself, but it helps activate the biological pathway that tells your muscles it is time to begin rebuilding. Next, keep your resistance training simple and consistent. 2 or 3 sessions each week are enough for many older adults to build or maintain strength when the major muscle groups are challenged. You do not need marathon workouts. Focus on movements such as squats to a chair, rows, presses, step-ups, or other exercises appropriate for your ability and mobility. Before lifting, spend 5 to 10 minutes preparing your body. Gentle mobility exercises, controlled joint movements, and light activation drills improve coordination and help your nervous system recruit muscle fibers more effectively. Those few minutes are not wasted time. They prepare the communication between your brain and your muscles before the heavier work begins. As your strength improves, increase resistance gradually rather than making large jumps. Better technique almost always produces better long-term results than heavier weight performed with poor control. Your muscles respond to steady progress, not dramatic changes. Protein should not be concentrated into one large evening meal. Instead, spread it across 3 or 4 meals during the day. This creates repeated opportunities for muscle protein synthesis, instead of asking your body to accomplish everything at once. Recovery matters just as much as training, so aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep whenever possible. During sleep, many of the repair processes we discussed continue quietly in the background. Stay well hydrated before and after your workouts, because healthy circulation helps deliver oxygen and nutrients where they are needed most. Above all, remember that consistency beats intensity. A routine you can repeat every week for months will almost always outperform an ambitious program that leaves you exhausted or discouraged after only a few sessions. One important note deserves careful attention. If you have kidney disease, advanced chronic kidney disease, heart failure, uncontrolled hypertension, liver disease, or another significant medical condition, decisions about protein intake and exercise intensity should be made with your healthcare professional. This conversation belongs between you and your clinician, not simply between you and a YouTube video. Individual medical history, medications, and conditions that affect nutrition or fluid balance can change what is appropriate for you, and personalized guidance is always the safest path. Now think back to where we began this morning. The same morning, a different understanding. Tomorrow morning, when you sit on the edge of your bed and place your feet on the floor, that familiar moment may feel different. Not because your body changed overnight, but because your understanding did. Standing up is no longer just another routine movement. It is the beginning of a choice. Every morning, 365 times each year, you can give your muscles both the challenge they need and the biological support they have been waiting for. Small decisions, repeated consistently, become remarkable results. And if understanding the biology behind everyday choices feels valuable, continue learning with us. If calm, evidence-based explanations help you make more confident health decisions, consider staying with us. That's what this channel is built around. Thank you for spending your valuable time learning with us today.